Hey there, how y'all doing this fine morning, or afternoon really? It's about 1 o'clock and I'm out on a little training hike, prep hike, because it is T-2 till I head to the Appalachian Trail. So this is my last or my next to last chance to get out and take a training hike. So I'm out today with my day pack on. I got it weighing in about 15 pounds. I'm out on a training hike today because I'm testing out a new piece of gear and I had to voice over because the wind was so aggressive. Hopefully I'm catching that. Yes folks, those are crampons. I've never owned a pair, but my friend Late Start, who is the caretaker of the Lambert's Meadow shelter and who went on a training hike up there through part of the trail I'm going to hike on next week, said that there was ice all over the trail and asked me if I had crampons. I did not have crampons, but now I do. So I kind of figured I should get out and give them a test walk, and I needed to get out and get a little more miles on. So here I go, out in the Hannaford Woods section of the Kane County Forest Preserve, because it's a place that doesn't have pavement, so I can get out on raw ground. Plus the ground here can be soggy and a little frozen, so I thought I'd go for a couple of mile hike in my new crampons. I shot some video of me putting them on. I don't know, I'll sandwich that in here somewhere. This is me demonstrating putting the crampons on for the very first time. I sped it up 3x because it only took about 2.5 or 3 minutes, but I was surprised at how easily they went on, having never put them on before. Getting them lined up correctly with the bottom of my shoe was probably the toughest learning part of the very first application. But I don't think they'll take more than a minute or two to put on once I get out on trail. Yeah, it's a Sunday, it's 1 o'clock, and it's only about 25 degrees. So I won't be doing a lot of filming today because the main point of today's hike is to test out what it's like to hike in crampons. And I would say I can already feel the extra half a pound on my feet, but I can also feel the traction. So. I'm about halfway through today's prep hike and gear test of the crampons, and I guess I should be clear, they're not crampons really, they're MICROspikes from Kahtoola. I only had a little bit of time to do research, so my default mechanism was to figure out what experienced YouTube hikers thought were the best and spend a little more money than I might have otherwise on that pair. So far, I can feel the effect. The trail hasn't been muddy or frozen, but my feet don't move around at all. So the MICROspikes, even if I hit like a patch of dirt that shifts or something, bite really well. When I get on harder pressed gravel, like on the fire service road through this park, or when I walked on a little bit of pavement just to test at my turnaround point, I did find that you can really feel the MICROspikes. First of all, if they're not perfectly aligned, like mine weren't, on my right heel, you can kind of feel that your weight shifts to a side, and I can imagine if they were out of line enough, you could twist an ankle or something, potentially. So getting them on square is important, I think. I've also had to be conscious of lifting my feet up even more than I normally do to clear everything, because it's sort of like my shoes are now, you know, 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch taller. And on really hard packed dirt, again, you can kind of feel where the spikes are on the ground. So I won't say it's uncomfortable, but you become aware of the pressure at the specific points on the bottom of the shoe where the spikes are. So I'll probably wait I was going to put them on at the beginning of the trail when I first start a couple of days from now, but now I think I'll wait and put them on until I get on a climb or until I find a muddy trail or a slick trail or a place where I actually need traction. I'll come up on an area in a minute that might be a little muddier and where there's a hill, so I'll see if any of it's soft enough that it makes any difference. I think one other impact for me has been that I'm a little more confident on the level ground sections just carrying the poles instead of using them, because you do get a good bite on the ground with MICROspikes, so that to the degree I was relying on poles as a third and fourth balance point, I don't feel quite so driven by that because my feet don't slip around at all with the MICROspikes on. There's Old Blue off in the distance, and I have now gone my 2.5 miles, and I think I can say that the crampons were a good idea and a sound investment. In particular, I scaled the hill that sometimes my feet slip on and I use the poles to steady myself, in particular because it's loose dirt and leaves and stuff. This time I actually picked the poles up, and the MICROspikes themselves were all that I needed to make sure that I made it up the hill. I did learn one quick lesson. I know as hikers we're prone to get rid of extra bags and such, but with the MICROspikes I'm definitely keeping the bag and writing my name on it, because as I took them off I realized that they will pick up a lot of dirt. So unless I want the inside of my pack to get as filthy as those MICROspikes are, I'm going to make sure and hang on to that bag and mark it so I can put the spikes back in it when I'm done with them.